Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the Prime Icon Moments RUI COSTA. We're going to look at the card's Zito stats, clips and summary, as well as the SBC requirements for you guys to get your hands on him. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below if you're going to be doing this card. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So guys, this is a team that I use RUI COSTA in. I played him at the 43 in that cam spot. I didn't really move him from that spot either. And overall guys, I think this card was just okay for me. That's my first impression of this card. I think this card is lacking a lot in certain areas, and I do think that this card, it's okay guys, and considering the price and the value, which we'll get onto shortly, I do think this card is okay. Overall guys, I do think that this card does need a little bit of help in the chemistry style, or just a bit of help around him in terms of players that you can use. Without further ado though, let's just get into the review. RUI COSTA 5'11", medium work rates, right footed, 4-star swing moves, and 4-star weak foot. So guys, really nice set of characteristics there. The medium work rates, I'd like that to be a high attacking work rate, but overall it doesn't affect him too much. Means he stays pretty stationary in that number 10 spots. 4 games played, 2 goals scored, and 2 assists. So that's pretty nice return as well. Sorry, not a nice return, sorry. I think that this card didn't deliver as much as I wanted him to. His passing was pretty decent, but his shooting was a bit off, and I feel like he should have had a couple more goals for me. So I think that return actually isn't as great as I would want it to be. In terms of chemistry style, I put a hunter on him and I put an engine on him. I do think the engine suited him better. And overall, guys, I do think that the chemistry style really will affect how well this card plays in terms of how well you're able to do with it, and generally things like that. Getting into the key stats here. Guys, the key pros of this card: 92 short pass is fantastic. Good reactions, good ball control as well when he's dribbling. Unfortunately, the cons of this card relate to that as well, in that his agility doesn't feel as high as it suggests. It feels low 80s, especially given his height and build. He does seem to feel like he's a little more stiff than should be, than this card would suggest. His pace is also a bit of a factor too, guys, and I felt like his finishing affected him quite badly, which is why I ended up trying the hunter on him to try and bring that up. Unfortunately though, guys, it didn't really help his shooting that much, and I felt like he still struggled even with the long shots, which I did take plenty of. I just feel like he struggled in that regard. His strength, stamina, and jumping are all pretty decent as well, so that's nice to have, but his aggression isn't that high. But his size and strength combined together mean that he's quite good in that attacking midfield spot against those weaker defensive midfielders or those fullbacks coming in to try and snuff out the attacks. He can get onto the centre backs quite easily and then start to link up play really well there as well. So he does have some nice combination factors going on there with the card. Overall, I feel like there's a few things that hold this card back quite significantly. In terms of the traits, he's got a flair trait, long shot taker, playmaker, and outside the foot shot trait. So all nice traits to have in your attacking midfielder. I would like to see a finesse shot trait as well with this card. I'd like the finesse shots. This card really did struggle in that department for me. I think if you just take regular long shots, you'll do a lot better. You will see a couple of shots that I did take with this card, guys. Overall, guys, again, lovely set of traits to have. And without further ado, we're going to get into the comparison between this card and the Prime Icon RUI COSTA. So guys, if we just get into the comparison between the Prime Icon Moments RUI COSTA and the Prime Icon RUI COSTA, you can see the price difference there, 267k and 250k respectively on the PlayStation and Xbox for Prime RUI COSTA, 850 and 850 on the PlayStation and Xbox for Prime Icon Moments. Now guys, this card is pretty decent. You guys can see on the face of the stats already, there's a big upgrade to his shooting and reasonable upgrades to everything else. If we just get into the total stats, the total face stats have increased by 18 points, and the total in-game stats are up by about 80 points as well. So quite a decent upgrade there, guys. It's same as, quite similar in fact to all the other Icon Moments such as Cliver and Nedved. Decent upgrades there in that regard. If we get straight into it though, guys, comparing the pace to start off with, this has received an okay boost in terms of how it compares to the Prime Icon. Of course, he is a little bit quicker, and that always does benefit, especially with the chemistry style, but it is still a factor I think you guys need to improve with this card. So that would be something that I would consider in terms of improving this player. In terms of the shooting element of this card, guys, this is where the biggest increase has come. You guys can see 81 up to 88. The positioning has gone up only marginally. The finishing has gone up by 7 points. The shot power up by 10 points. The long shots up by 11 points. Volleys up by 1, and penalties haven't moved. Now guys, that is pretty significant. I still think this finishing stat is a holdback stat. You need to improve that. But overall, a lovely boost in terms of the long shots as well. He really is a bit of a danger from the striking the ball from distance. I struggled a little bit, but I think if you know how to finish with this card, then he can be absolutely lethal in that regard. Getting into the next section of the card, guys, is his passing. His vision up by 1, crossing up by 1, free kick accuracy up by 1, short pass up by 1, long pass up by 2, and curve up by 3. Overall, guys, I don't really feel like there's much difference in that stat category. The original Costa, the Prime Costa card, was pretty decent at passing, and so is this Prime Icon Moments. There's not much difference for me there. In terms of the dribbling, guys, Dribbling up from 88 to 90, 88 to 86 agility, 90 balance to 83 balance, 90 reactions to 89 reactions, 94 ball control to 92. So again, all of these have upgraded generally. And then this is the big one here, the composure up by 8 points, which is a really nice boost to that as well. That should help his finishing, but again, the finishing holds him back from being able to finish consistently for me anyway. The agility upgrade is nice, the balance upgrade is really nice as well. So overall, guys, I think they've done a really good job on the agility and balance and the general dribbling stats. However, guys, I do think, again, because of his size and build, he felt clunky to me. The engine felt like the best chemistry sufferer, and we'll get more into that in the summary. I feel like he still struggled a little bit on the dribbling side. In terms of the defending, guys, we're not really going to cover this. There's no real differences in there. And in terms of the physicality, no real movement either. Only the strength up by 4 points. I can't bring that up on the screen for you guys, but 4 points up on the strength is really the only significant change you need to worry about. Overall, guys, I think there is a significant jump in this card, obviously, and I do think that it does do very well in terms of being a better version of the Prime Icon card. Of course, RUI COSTA was very popular early on in the game this year. However, I do think that he still has some glaring issues, like the pace, like the clunkiness on his dribbling, and that finishing aspect that really do need to be worked on still. You can fix that, but you have to sacrifice one of the others in order to be able to do all of them appropriately. So there is still something to consider in that regard. We'll go more into that in the summary, but now that we've covered the comparison between the two, we're going to get into what the SBC requirements are for you guys to get your hands on him. So guys, if we just get into RUI COSTA's SBC costs here, 705 on the PlayStation, 672 on the Xbox, and 788 on the PC. Pretty high in terms of cost to the card. We'll compare that again further in the summary. If we just get into what the SBC requirements are, the first one is of course a bronze squad, the second one is silver squad, and the third one a gold squad, 80 rated with an informed player. These three squads are pretty cheap, and even the fourth squad as well is pretty cheap. It's an 82 rated squad with an informed player. Again, only 40k there for that one. This is where it starts to pick up a little bit in terms of the cost. The first one is the AC Milan one, which is an 84 rated squad. The next one, an 86 rated squad. And then the final squad, an 86 rated squad with an inform. So those two are quite expensive. The fifth squad that you have to put together is reasonably expensive, but the first four are fairly cheap. And actually, guys, overall, whilst they have priced this SBC cheaper, I still do think it's very expensive for what you're getting for this card. I didn't rate this card as highly as I thought I would, given that he does look like my style of player. I do feel like I struggled a little bit with this card. But overall, guys, again, I think the SBC is well priced by EA. I could have used with it being a little bit lower, maybe 50k to 75k lower. I think that would have been a better spot for this card, but I do think they've priced it okay this time. Again, guys, that's all I can say about the SBC. So without further ado, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of RUI COSTA's clips, and what you guys are going to see is his general ability to play up front, play in that attacking role, in that attacking midfield spot, and create chances and opportunities for himself. Now guys, what you will see in a lot of these clips is me taking ridiculous shots at stupid angles. Now that is because, guys, I really struggle to create clear opportunities with this card. I did find that a lot of the time his pace was holding him back, his clunkiness was holding him back, and although some people may love this card in terms of how he's able to play, for me, guys, that finishing aspect, and that's the first thing I want to get onto, that finishing was a real struggle in terms of being able to put away chances easily. He was able to create chances, guys, if you played good passing football with him. The problem, guys, for me is that when you start to get going in that quick paced or quicker transition, he struggled a little more. There you guys can see a clear opportunity presenting itself. Unfortunately, unable to take that chance just because I didn't feel like I had the pace with him. Now guys, of course, please do bear in mind that all of these opinions that I present you on the card are just opinions. He will be a phenomenal card for some of you. For me though, guys, I did feel like that clunkiness on his dribbling as well was a real struggle. He felt very similar, in fact, in dribbling style to Eric Cantona, in that he's a very good dribbler, but just a little bit clunky for my liking. And therefore, I struggle to move cleanly with this card, especially in the attacking midfield spot, and create easy chances for myself. There again, you see that finishing letting him down. Now guys, one thing I do want to touch on, which is a big pro of this card, is the strength. The strength of this card is phenomenal. He is really strong in terms of being able to hold off defenders, get past midfielders, burst along, get in behind there to be able to create opportunities for his teammates as well, or to finish them off himself in the unlikely event that you actually managed to get one in, or that I did. His strength is really, really great, guys, and that was something that was phenomenal to have, because you normally have an attacking midfielder who's very slight and incapable, and I think that does balance off the fact that he isn't that quick or agile, and he does feel a little bit clunky, is that he is incredibly strong for the size of player that he is as well. Overall, guys, I thought that was a real big pro of the card. We're going to get into, soon we're going to get into some of the goals that he got from me, but again, you guys are seeing here, I would have liked a finish shot trait. That finishing really does let him down, and for me, that's the biggest thing that I keep harping on about, guys, and getting back to, is that the finishing really did seem to hold him back in terms of being able to just stick away what for me are usual gimmies or easy chances in terms of sticking these into the back of the net. There are, of course, a lot of ridiculous angles in some of these clips too. Here are the goals, guys. As you guys can see, created a lovely opportunity here. A great finish there, actually, into the side netting. And this final clip, picks up the ball from deep, gets through the defense there with a lovely little 1-2 with Raul, gets in behind on the goalkeeper and smashes it into the back of the net. So, guys, getting to this final RUI COSTA summary, we're going to look at the price to buy a tradable version first. 850k on the PlayStation, 850 on the Xbox, 980 on the PC. Now if we go to the SBC costs here, 705, 671 and 789. Now guys, for me, this is not enough of a drop off to justify buying this card. He was actually a lot cheaper last night and has picked up again in terms of price today. I do feel like that will fall again, and this card really is, there's not that much difference between the SBC and this cost of a card. I feel like this SBC is slightly overpriced. We'll get more into that though as we go through the review. Well, first of all, we'll cover the key stats. The key stats, of course, I think the passing is really great on this card. I think the long passing is better than the card suggests. I do think the ball control and the dribbling is okay. I do feel like the agility is a bit clunky and holds him back a little bit, and that strength is a phenomenal stat to have, especially in attacking midfielder. The long shots and shot power were good, however, I just felt like I struggled a little bit in that regard. In terms of the cons, of course, like I just mentioned, the acceleration, a big one, the agility, of course, and the big one, of course, that finishing, which I kept harping on about in the clips. That's the biggest con of this card, guys. You'll need to fix that if you want this card to work as a goal-scoring attacking midfielder. If I was to recommend a chemistry style though, guys, I'm looking at the engine chemistry style. That's what it does to all of his stats and brings everything really up in line with where you'd expect an attacking midfielder to be. That really does help him out in terms of being able to boost what's important about this card and help out his general game as well in terms of passing. If you wanted to boost that finishing as well, look towards a finisher chemistry style. That really helps his agility out as well. It doesn't boost the pace or passing, but if you can live with that element of the game where he's not as quick, but then all of a sudden you have a card which really can finish and dribble the ball well, then that could be a good chemistry style. However, my recommended one would be the engine chemistry style. In terms of similar players, guys, we're not going to compare them as we don't to any of the other icons or players. I did feel like his dribbling style was very similar to Cantona, if that's any help to you guys. But overall, guys, I think that this card, he plays, of course, like the Prime Costa, but he plays in a very individual way in that he plays with a good level of dribbling, a good level of passing, good level of shooting, but not really sensational in any of them. The passing is probably the best stat of all of them, but I think he does need a lot of help in terms of improvement. And in terms of linkability, of course, you've got Portuguese players who are strong links to him and Portuguese icons, which are perfect links, or other icons which are strong links too. We'll look at where he sits in terms of price for a tradable card, guys. Now, if we look here, 850k, sitting just below Frank Lampard, just above Juan Sebastian Veron, and that's Seedorf there as well, Michael Essien's baby there as well. Alejandro Gomez is probably the next jump up. If I was to compare him directly to that Gomez card, which I have used, this card does not have a scratch on that Gomez card in terms of capability. This Gomez card, although this Gomez card is unlikely to upgrade given how Sevilla have been performing, if this Gomez card does get an upgrade, then fair play. But I think that this RUI COSTA card doesn't come close to this Gomez card. And for 40k more, I think you're just better off getting this Alejandro Gomez. If we were to go down in price, which is where we would expect this card to go towards, and the SBC is priced, say, around 700k, then we're looking here around Hidetoshi Nakata, Gennaro Gattuso, Socrates, Emmanuel Petit, Renato Sanchez. Bruno Fernandes sits in there as well, and Gio Reyna is there too. I think you're better off getting a Bruno Fernandes. Now, I don't perform particularly well with a Bruno Fernandes card, but I think that Bruno Fernandes will be a better card for you guys to use in general in terms of attacking plays. Of course, Portuguese as well, but for me, I just prefer how Fernandes plays compared to that RUI COSTA card. If I was to recommend between Nakata and RUI COSTA, who I would pick, I honestly do like Nakata's Prime Icon card. I do think this Icon Moments card would just be more the same, more consistency in terms of the attack midfield spot. I think this Nakata card would be better. I think you're better off going for that than wasting your coins on that RUI COSTA SBC. For me, guys, that leads me into my final summary, which is this Costa SBC isn't worth it for me, although it is down in price compared to what his tradable value is. I think this SBC is slightly high. If it was around 615, 650k, 625k, then I would say that's probably around the fair range for that card. And then I would say, okay, yep, that's worth it. For me, guys, the 705 level is too high for him. I don't think he plays to that level even. I don't feel like he plays the current level which he's sitting at, which is 850k. So for me guys, I wouldn't be recommending going out and doing this card. Hold off your fodder and coins for another card that is set to come out in the next few weeks. They will be releasing more Icon SBCs, so hold off and see what comes out. This card of course is around for a while, so if you do feel like doing it after all of that, then you of course can pick them up. The other thing I would say guys about doing any of these SBCs is wait until the promos kick in again, because cards will go down in value in terms of the high rated value cards, and therefore you'll get yourself this SBC done for cheaper. So if you are going to do them, wait until that happens and you'll be able to do this card for cheaper as well. And that's it for this review guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.